pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Dan Pillow.
Here.
Lisa Stafford.
Here.
Dan Dalton.
Here.
Ann Pillow.
Here.
Steve Dalton.
Here.
Pam Jackson.
Here. First, we'll start with the clerk's report.
You received the minutes from the July 20th, 2020 meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the July 20th minutes.
Second. Sorry.
Motion by Pam, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You received pay ordinance 8A. This is for biweekly payroll that was paid on July 29th. All dispersed from the general fund was $10,251.06.
Make a motion, we pay ordinance 8A.
Second it.
Motion by Dan Dalton, second by Pam Jackson. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You have 8B for biweekly payroll that was paid on August the 12th. All dispersed from the general fund, $12,707.66.
I'll make a motion to accept the pay ones. Okay.
Motion by Pam, is there a second?
Second motion.
Okay, second by Dan Pillow. Any discussion? Lisa?
Yeah, not trying to pick on the officers or anything, but is there a reason why we have one officer getting a lot more hours than he should?
Talking about Officer Webb,
Yeah.
I had officer paid out for 2 weeks waiting for results of COVID testing. He was the only one that had availability to pick up the shifts.
And also we have one call in.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You have 8C, and this is for monthly salaries. Dispersed from general fund, $7,350.
I'll make a motion to accept AC.
One second. Motion by Lisa Stafford, second by Ann Pillow. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You have 8D, and this is for accounts payable. Dispersed from the general fund, $11,065.26. From the fire EMS fund, $200.65. From the water fund, $553.39. For combined total funds of $11,819.30.
I make a motion, we accept ordinance 8C.
D.
Or is it D wrong?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm a page behind. Let's go with 8D then.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Lisa Stafford. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Lisa Stafford.
Yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
And you have 8E, 2080 for August the 18th. This again is for accounts payable. Dispersed from the general fund, $8,912.40. From the fire EMS fund, $1,847.69. From the water fund, $1,847.69 for a combined total of $12,670.78. make a motion, so.
Second.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Steve. Is there any discussion?
The CT consultant, is that for the road repairs? Is that what that's from? If we were having consultants try and look at what we have to do to repair the road?
Yeah, that's part of this, it's the engineer.
Yeah, the engineers, yeah.
Yeah, they come out and assess First Street up towards the end where the road's slipping.
Okay.
And they also come out and look at second hand.
Yeah. Is that the end of discussion? No more discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson. You should have a copy of the mayor's monthly statement from Mayor's Court as of August the 17th. I'll make a motion to accept the mayor's monthly report.
Second.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Dan Dalton. Is there any discussion?
Just want to make sure the total of the city is really total to village, right?
Yeah.
And last year at this time it was 60,000, and right now we're roughly at 29,000.
Yep.
Okay, just,
Yeah, and also notice the disbursements up above. I mean, technically, you see how it's split up above that?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, I just want to see if you're aware of that.
That's the money that we budget. What is up at the top where it says total to city?
Right.
Any other discussions? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson. You should have received copies of the Addyston Board of Public Affairs minutes and pay sheet and their collection from their August the 10th meeting.
This is July 23rd.
Well, they're always a month behind on their meeting, on their minutes.
Okay.
You'll get the next minutes from this past, you'll get those in September.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the water bill company report.
I'll second.
Motion by Pam, second by Lisa. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Is that all you had?
I was going to bring up about the auditor.
Oh, yeah, because we need to go ahead and start that for the 31st.
I received an email from Betsy Amen, the state local auditor's office, and she would like to meet and have the X interview for the 16-17 audit the last Monday of the month, which is August the 31st at 2 p.m.
And it'll be a video
It will be,
conference.
yeah, it'll be through what they use Microsoft.
Yeah,
So we'll go through that.
Teams.
And we'll see that everybody gets the login.
Is that okay with everybody? to move
Is that
forward on
date good?
Can we do a little bit later, like, even, like, I'm not even done with my school day until
Okay.
what, I think we're done at 2:25.
I can check with her and let
Could we
you
just
know.
bump it up just a little bit so I can?
I think she might do it later.
Yeah, she'll probably do it later. They have
At least I
done
know
it
you
before.
work too.
Yeah, I work till 4:30.
So we'll see if we can do it maybe like after 5:30. Okay. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Margaret. Council, with your pleasure, before we move forward on anything else, we have a guest here tonight. If you don't mind, I'd like to introduce him. Mark Alt.
Hi, I'm Mark Holt.
You want to step up and introduce yourself to everybody?
I want to stay 6 feet apart. I'm Mark Holt. I am the superintendent at Three Rivers. Just started in July. I actually lived in the school district for about 20 years. I was a teacher here, coached a little bit, was middle school principal. So I've been gone for about 15 years, came back, and we're in very difficult time right now trying to figure out what to do moving forward with schools. So we do have a plan in place. Our kids are coming back on August 31st. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, we're going to have kids stay home and learn virtually while we can clean the facilities. So we'll start staggered start next week. We'll have parents and kids coming in and just meeting with teachers and learning about what the day is going to look like with masks and hand washing and sanitation and mask breaks and everything else. I want to introduce too in the back is Kevin Cook. Kevin comes to us from Indiana.
Yes.
He's middle school assistant principal and basketball player too, you can tell.
Maybe a little bit back in the day.
The designated bodyguard.
I don't know. We'll see.
So I'm glad to meet all of you. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
And thank you for the invitation.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Good.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Mark.
Good to see you, Dan.
We'll get to the treasurer's report. Did you have anything tonight?
Everybody has a copy of the June treasurer's report with the attached bank statements from July on all of the accounts. The June treasurer's report, the total council-controlled funds was at $173,788.06. Receipts and expenditures brought the ending balance for June of controlled council funds of $176,906.16. You add that in with your loan, water, and sewer, your grand total combined funds, beginning balance $274,359.06. Receipts and expenditures, final balance at the end of June, $281,229.52.
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Dan Dalton. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford, yay. Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay. And I just have a few things. I'll try not to take too long. One of the first items I want to bring up is you have in front of you an estimate for the work for the pipe that's up there on Church Street. Right now, that was Howard that grabbed one for me. If you want me to get two more, I could, but I just want to let you know that's what it would cost to have somebody do it. Our backhoe is way too large to take down that hill. We'll have to either rent something else and do it, or just have somebody do it and get it done. So that's just there for you to look at.
Mayor, I would make a motion if we proceed with this particular bid that we've not necessarily get quote, because I don't think you're going to find anybody else that's going to do that cheap. We could delay this. I think we've delayed this with the gentleman for quite a while.
More than a year.
More than a year?
But it's up to whether or not we had the funding for that as well, because that wasn't budgeted for this year.
That's what I was about to.
And I don't know what line that would come out of.
It's stormwater.
It is stormwater, yeah,
And
'cause that's part of our stormwater.
We have money that's going to be coming in, going into the stormwater.
Like $6,000.
Like $6,500 is going to be coming in this week to go into the stormwater account. The money's coming from Hamilton County, so you will have money there.
So just take it out of the stormwater account?
That's what it is, that's what it's for.
I second that motion that Dan made them.
All right. Motion by Dan Pillow to accept the contractor estimate. Second by Lisa Stafford. Any other discussion?
I still think we should have the two other quotes.
If you want me to, that's fine, that's, I mean, that's what we're really requiring, we should be doing this.
I don't think we're required
It's
to
up to
have,
council.
we're not required to that for $1,400. We're not required to have any other bids than the one we have. We can take this one if we want,
Yeah.
if we want.
What can we compare it to, though?
Up to council.
How quickly could we get another bid or two?
It wouldn't take very long. It's just, Howard just got that one today. So I didn't even expect you to move on or you won't move on.
But there again, we won't meet for another month. That's the reason
Another
I'd like
month,
to get
yeah.
this small
Is
project.
there a way to frame the motion that, you know, limits it to a certain amount?
So can we make a motion that says go with, get your quotes, go with the cheapest one, and we'll approve this amount, and if you can spend less than that, do that. Can we
So
make that
even if
motion?
I called other people and get quotes, as long as it's within that amount.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we already have one amount, so we approve this amount. If you can get it cheaper, great. Otherwise, that way you don't have to wait for us to reconvene to approve.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
So can we amend the motion to be that way?
As long as
We
Mr.
make the motion to say
I have
we
no
can have it
problem.
fixed as long as it's not more than this amount.
I have no problem with the motion being amended. Second?
I seconded it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any further discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Pamela,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Phillip,
Yeah.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Jackson.
And I also wanted to let, not finished with the garage doors yet, getting the last, what do you call it?
Estimate?
Thank you. So that'll bring to the next one, or we might have a special meeting in the meantime, so we'll cut that one. The other thing is, does council wish for me to continue to keep the part-time maintenance laborers on the 24 hours each? Or could I work them 32 hours again for a while?
Mayor, I'm sorry, who was speaking?
I was about to ask, can we post, I want to look at a revenue statement. So the whole reason we did that was because,
Yeah, the revenue flow.
and the next finance committee meeting, we're going to look at that. So when we meet in, do we only have one meeting in September? Or do we
Yeah,
have
but I'm
twice?
thinking about having a special meeting because that's just too far in between. Just so we can continue to get things done, because I'll have other things I need to bring forward to you.
So
before
can-
then.
Can we postpone just a little bit so we can look at the revenue statement and then we can come back to council and,
If that's council's wish.
Mayor, I feel like we have two guys over there, and there's only one guy working each day, as we are now. I feel like we should go ahead, in the absence of our not street commissioner, but our lead maintenance man, that these guys really.
do we have a lead
need to-
maintenance man?
I'm sorry.
We have a lead maintenance man, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah, in the absence
Yeah,
of.
we
of the
do.
lead
He is
maintenance.
out this week due to.
Oh, okay, sorry. When you said access to the lead, I'm like, we hired one, right?
Right, yeah, but
So
he's on
already this
vacation.
week I'm allowing it because I only had them to, because I need somebody here on Friday.
Right,
Otherwise, Friday we have nobody.
I think we
But
should
after
do
that,
that.
if you want, like when he's here, like he already had a vacation scheduled before he started here. So I put him out for this week.
So we're gonna be using the money that we were paying him to cover these guys?
For this week, yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't.
Well, can we clarify, are we talking just this week, or are we talking
Yeah, I'm
about?
going just this week,
Yeah.
just when he's
Oh,
not
okay,
here.
sorry, I thought you were
When
talking
he's
like,
not- Well, no, just this week now, but if I can have them at 32 hours beyond that week, that'd be nice. Because there's a lot on the plate that needs done.
It's almost necessary when you see what's getting done. So like today, Howard spent more than half his day cleaning the building. There was absolutely no maintenance in the village, and it's gonna be that way with one person working. That's the reason I suggest that we keep those guys working for 32 hours. Are they working 32 now?
No,
Just this week. Like previous,
Yeah.
like when he started, we went back to the 24.
Yeah, but at some point, they're working 32, I guess that's my question.
This week they are,
Yes, okay, that's what I wanted to make sure that we were covered for this week.
I don't have a problem with this week because we're not paying our other maintenance person.
yeah, so that's not that big of an issue.
Mhm.
No, I mean, that's really, they don't make a ton of money.
The long-term question, if you give us a little time to look at our revenue statement and see where we're at,
Yeah.
that's an easier, we can say, yes, we're able to cover it.
Okay. And the other one, I also wanted to let council know that we were approved for $26,200, 100% paid for our geotechnical work for First Street.
Who did Hamilton County Municipal Road Fund?
Yeah. Yep.
Very good.
And that's what it's gonna cost to fix that and level that?
Well, the 26,200's for our, that's basically our first steps for the geotechnical work and drilling they have to do to figure out what is going on with First Street.
Right, stuff like that.
So that's 100% paid, and it's paid for by them. They're directly reimbursed for this work.
Okay.
So that should start soon. Now, understand though, but even though we were awarded that to start, at least we get the ball rolling, we're still not looking at our full plan until spring of 2021. But at least by then, all the geotechnical work should be done, a plan should be put together, here's our problem, here's what it's gonna cost you to get this fixed, and hopefully we'll have some more funds by then to complete that.
Okay.
Mayor, did that qualify for a SCIP grant or not? Do you know, the road itself?
That's
That
what
should
I'm
be
in the
coming
middle
up.
of right now.
Should be coming up, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm in the middle of right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if it will, but if it does, great.
Yeah,
I mean, if council wants me to keep pulling grants and things, I'll keep rolling.
have to.
Yeah.
We all have to. That's what we should all be doing. Yeah. Great.
The only other, well, really just go to Bob at this point, because everything else I have is in Bob's hands.
Brought over, first one is an ordinance authorizing an agreement between the Village of Addyston and the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners relevant to the improvement of First Street.
And that's for that $26,000.
Do we have a copy of that one?
Yep,
Yes.
should have it in front of everybody's station tonight.
Okay.
It's one of the big
Should be
things. too.
stapled.
Oh, duh, it's this one in front of me, I'm sorry.
There again, this is the Hamilton County Municipal Road Fund money grant that the mayor referred to.
I make a motion that we declare an emergency and suspend the rules, a reading by title only 3 times.
Second.
Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Dan Dalton. Any questions? No questions, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
First reading, an ordinance authorizing an agreement between the Village of Addyston and the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners relative to the improvement of First Street. Second reading, an ordinance authorizing an agreement between the Village of Addyston and the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners relative to the improvement of First Street. Third reading, an ordinance authorizing an agreement between the Village of Addyston and the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners relative to the improvement of First Street.
I make a motion that we accept the ordinance as read.
Second.
Motion by Lisa Stafford, second by Steve Dalton. Any questions? No questions, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
This will be ordinance number 6.
Thank you.
Then I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into a contract agreement with the Baldwin Group.
No, I went ahead and had him draw that up. I hope you guys got your email and actually read through it. That concerns our like online payments for the water board and court clerk.
This is actually cheaper than PNC.
Yes, it is.
We investigated it and we learned that it's cheaper, and they will also provide a credit card terminal for the water utilities.
And the terminals are no charge.
And yeah, the terminals are no charge,
Well,
so
we're
everything will
getting
be
charged a
done.
lot.
Yeah, so,
I move to suspend the rules, read the ordinance 3 times only, by title only, declare it an emergency, after it's read 3 times, move to adopt the ordinance as read.
Second.
Motion by Dan Dalton, second by Pam Jackson. Is there any discussion?
This will allow for online, correct?
Yes.
So they'll
for
be able
those
to.
two
This
things.
is,
Okay.
what happens with this too is they take care of the fees as well. So we're not having to deal with the, like, one of the accounting problems we ran into with our audit and things is the fees not being recorded properly, something like that. This takes and eliminates recording of fees because they take care of the fees before it hits us. So like it'll go into the mayor's account first, in the mayor's office. But say a fine is $50 and the fee is $3. Well, instead of us incurring that fee and trying to have to keep track of that fee, they take the fee out. That's, you know, and then it goes straight into the account at the actual charge of the ticket, case, whatever.
This will be water board and for.
Because then you can work with the water board and their software.
Okay.
Like, so their software would be connected with their bridge payment and the court software would be connected to the bridge payment.
How would the village itself, and I don't know if we need to, how would we take an online payment? Would we still have a credit card machine separate?
That is something that we'll have to see because the one that we've got in there currently does have 4 other related things like building inspection and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he said we should
Yeah.
still be able to do that,
Yeah.
but we just have to.
Right. We just have to set some stuff up.
So we
with
could
them.
expand this agreement eventually. Okay, cool.
And with the water board, it would go into the general fund where Audrey and I will see it. Because they don't have a separate account. Mayor's court is completely separate, but both of us and the mayor have access to that to monitor through that account.
And I am still in the process of reconciling the mayor's account. We're getting close.
How long are we committed to this?
You can end it in the next month.
Okay.
It's no contractual agreement, like it's month to month.
But we have to have it in order to do it. We have to have the documents.
Yeah. Any other discussions? All right, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
This will be number 7.
Yeah.
You've got to read it.
All right.
Sorry, Bob. You gotta read it. I'm moving too fast for you. Sorry about that.
Was that motion for the emergency status?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm sorry.
I was trying to
Jumping in
get
out here.
discussion out at a time, and once that he reads.
That was the test, just to see if
Sorry.
I was on her
The
toes.
following has been no.
First reading an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into a contract agreement with the Baldwin Group, Inc. Second reading an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into a contract/agreement with the Baldwin Group, Inc. Third reading an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into a contract/agreement with the Baldwin Group, Inc.
I make a motion that the ordinance be approved as read.
Second.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Steve Dalton. Any further discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Okay, now I think it's safe to say this will be number 7.
Sure.
The other issue is the mayor requested an ordinance regulating outdoor storage within the village of Addyston, and this is a penal ordinance, so I'm gonna give that to you, but I think if you're gonna call a special meeting of council, I think council should get a copy of that, and then maybe if we have laws and ordinance meeting, to go over the entire ordinance,
Yeah,
to tailor it and fit it to
what our needs.
exactly.
Well, because basically, council, what this is addressing is things like trailers in people's yards and stuff like that, junk on property and all that. We need something we have to keep with.
There are a number of ordinances which have interplay on this, and I think that you want to get to the point where you get a comprehensive ordinance which puts them all together if you can. And then also I think that you should take a look at the property maintenance code, and you should look at your zoning code also. Those are, because if you look
That's
at...
before you want to go forward.
No, I'm saying you can go forward with that, but I think laws and ordinance are, you know, if you're gonna have a special meeting of council, everybody can sit there and go over it, and I can bring it over on a laptop or whatever and get the final document printed out.
Oh, you mean for this one?
Correct. And then, the property maintenance code, if you're gonna start, tightening down on all these, I think you should take a look at the property maintenance code, and I think you should especially look at your zoning ordinance, because the zoning ordinance dates back to 1968, and, you know...
Do you have that like on a digital copy for zoning?
I don't have it on...
I don't even think I've ever seen zoning.
Right, I've got a copy, but it's not a digital copy. I can scan it in and send it to you.
I've got a copy upstairs.
Yeah, we have copies of it around.
Yeah,
Where's that?
Everybody that was on council a few years ago got a copy of it. It's in a binder. It's in a...
The zoning is?
Yep.
It's in the white one?
No, it's not in the white one.
Oh.
I don't know, I can't say it's not, but we've had them in individual ones because it went through and Bob made notes on it and it come back and council did adopt it. And there are ordinances on found the ability to do with outside storage, trailers, cars, things like that. There are other ordinances up there.
Sure, and that was going to be my question. Do we already have ordinance in place that some of these, and I'm assuming some of those things that we're talking about are in our street committee report, but gosh, if we had things in place that people have suffered a long time, we didn't take care of it. So, but if that's what council wants to do is work.
Well, I think this should go to committee. I'm not saying pass this tonight.
Well,
He's just giving it to me to give to you guys what it would look like.
Oh, I understand that,
From
ma'am.
taking the, like Wyoming as a sort
Right.
of guide,
Yes.
whatever, and putting it together to show us what it would look like.
Yes, I certainly understand that, but we had things that were already in place that we've been kicking around some things for a
So
long
the
time.
laws and contracts, take that to a meeting.
Okay.
And then I'll give you copies or whatever and just sort of go through it and see if we can find an ordinance and sort of weigh it out, right?
CARES
Oh, yeah.
ordinance.
I thought we already did that.
Well, we did one.
We did two. We've done two ordinances
We've
on
done
the
two?
CARES.
Okay.
Yep.
And I've sent it on to the
You had to do
county.
that online.
And I sent it to the state
Okay.
New Blessings office, and I have registered us for the CARES funding through the state of Ohio. I have me listed, and I have the mayor listed as the other contact person.
It did come back. There's something about the DMO number or something. We got
Probably about the dunce number.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at that. Because, yeah. But
That's
that was in the
the only
right.
reason that came back.
Okay, I didn't see that, so I will.
That's all that I
Yeah, that's
did.
fine. All right, thank you, Bob.
Before we move on, you said laws and contracts or laws and ordinances, whatever. Are there any other committees that have to be part of this also?
Well, we can't have
Is
the
it better?
committees at the same time meeting,
No, I realize that, but
but I
they
would,
can,
I would think that this would be part of houses and streets.
okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Just wanted to
If
double.
we could
I just
have a
wanted to
copy.
have something together that they could kind of say, oh, well, this is what it would look like.
Yeah.
Taking it from that example
Yeah.
to move forward.
Yeah. that'd
So I
be
mean,
great.
they can meet on it, yeah, they can meet on it as well. Like,
If we just had
they
copies.
can meet on it and they can meet on it because, well, if we're going to take it in the form of an ordinance,
Mhm. That'll about cover everybody on council and everybody can take a look at it.
Well, I'll have copies. I'll make copies of everything I can, that's up there related to the zoning,
Mhm.
the book that's up there, the most recent building property maintenance
Could we
booklet
scan
that I
that?
had. Well, yes, I will. I will do that. And any of the ordinance that are related to it, because I can sit here and tell you probably 10, 12 years ago, we had an incident around 22 Main Street. There was a mobile home parked out there. I mean, there's been various things in this community that had to do with outside vehicles and different things. So there are things up there.
so you have,
That's it.
okay.
I'm good.
You good? You sure? All right. I'm gonna go to committees. I'm gonna switch it back and forth sometimes. I'm gonna start on this side of the room this time and go around. Pam, did you have anything from the committee?
Yeah, we did have a laws and contracts. It was discussed the police initiative. And it was kicked around and referred to the police committee. So that was kind of a waste of time, but that's where it ended up.
So it's in the police committee's hands now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And the other thing, a resident, should I say, a couple of them requested that we do like a water splash thing for the kids. I did speak to the water board president, and they're told kind of against this because it will, like what's being said, would mess up, could have the potential to mess up the water in the village to cause dirty water.
Yeah.
So they kind of didn't recommend that we do that, especially using one of our fire hydrants. So they said they didn't. And then another thing would be, where would you hold it if you could? I mean, we don't have our basketball court anymore, and I thought the field would be a muddy mess, so I don't, it's kind of like, I don't think that can happen at this time. And then you got the social
Maybe a
distancing
different
too.
idea.
Yeah, maybe something else, but not, you know, not with the water.
Pam, if I may, just, yeah. If you remember when Rhonda was here, we were gonna block off the streets because there were drains there just for a period of time where the kids could
Right.
use the fire hydrant. And I think if we open the valve the correct way, we won't get a lot of dirty water throughout town. It's just from my experience.
Yeah.
But that might be something that we could do. I remember we couldn't do it on the basketball court because there was glass sometimes under the water where kids had broken bottles, and that created a liability. But I don't know if they think it's, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Yeah.
I said, you know, is there a better part of town that's better than the other?
Yeah.
Because they said they just, because I mentioned like our, out here on our parking area, they said, well, they had a problem with the new 50 bar. They didn't want to do that because that caused, they opened up water somewhere near here, it caused them a disturbance.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of was giving them other options. So
Sure.
I kind of was saying, you know, I think it's a good idea, but it's just that if it's going to mess with everybody in the village, we have to notify all the residents.
Yeah.
Are they going to want that for a couple hours? I don't know.
Right, it's just like.
They don't care about dirty water for a couple hours, you know, but I'm sure we're going to get some opposition to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's-
Okay.
And, I mean, that's up to council. If we want to listen to the residents about the water, I mean, we have a right to still hold it if you want to do that. It's council's decision. I'll just bring back what I was, the conversation I had with the president of the water board. Because I want to give the resident, she's not here tonight, let her know that why we can't do it, but I wanted to run it by council first. That's not my decision, it's council as a whole. Everybody still want to go for it, or are we just going to leave it where it is?
I think it would be an easier decision if the temperature hadn't been as low as it's been lately.
Yeah. Yeah, I realize we're trying to find something for them to do and try to go back to school. But
Something that don't involve messing with people's water is probably a good idea.
yeah. All right, so the other thing, did get a message from Bob about the policy procedure manual. He did review it, so I guess looks like everything I've seen. He made a few changes, spelling and some other issues, but looks like it's ready to go. How long you need to, you're gonna make the final changes or?
Yeah, I can go through and make them.
Okay, so that's where we're at on the manual. And then I guess the next thing is just to set up a meeting about what the mayor brought to our attention about the trailers and sorts. So when does, all the contracts, when can you guys meet? What day's good?
How soon do you need it? I've got a couple of things.
Okay, how much time do you need, Margaret? You said you wanted to get some documents together, you said you had some things?
Probably sometime this week, but I don't know why, but in my calendar I have Monday, August the 3rd. Was that an old meeting and it got moved to a different date because it's before the planning meeting?
Yes.
Okay. What about Thursday, the 6th of August? Oh, we're sorry.
September.
September. Sorry about that.
The 6th, you're okay.
Yep.
Sundays?
Wait a minute.
September the 6th is a Sunday.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Wrong calendar.
Okay, wrong calendar. Labor Day is the 7th, so.
What do you want to have you meeting? Do you know?
Oh, you mean special?
Yeah,
I'm not sure yet.
because it'd be nice to have, look at this before that. I'm assuming we wanted to get this together.
I mean, we could still have another special meeting if you want to get a few other
I'm
things.
sure everybody.
But I
around
just
here
don't
would
have
agree
the
with
things together that I want to get together to have that special meeting yet.
that. Okay.
I'm not sure exactly when it'll all come together, but hopefully soon.
Well, so, are we busy on the 31st? That's a Monday.
Yeah,
That would be
Mondays,
the-
that's that.
That's
That's at, oh, that's Zoom, like,
The audit thing.
What about maybe, like Tuesday the 25th or 26th? Next Monday, 24th?
24th? Does that work for Ann, Dan?
What day is the 24th again?
Oh, Monday,
Monday.
next Monday?
I am watching somebody's kids that day.
But I'll be home by 4:30.
You will? Okay, anytime after that would be fine with
Just
me.
bail him out. Ann?
I'm gonna get scolded for that later, I think.
Yeah, the 20 Monday, I think is good.
24th?
Read it.
Say 6? Is that good, 6? Give you time to
6?
relax
Yeah.
after the kids?
Or go drinking, one or the other.
6 o'clock on the 24th then.
And how about, when I get them and I'll scan them to everybody, but I'll also put hard copies down here
Can you read it?
in your boxes.
You read it?
That way you'll have it if you need to write on something, and I'll email you and tell you they're there, that you can pick them up. At work.
Yeah, that sounds good. The only other thing is, I know that we voted on the water board clerk's raise, and we've got kind of description after the fact. I noticed there it did not have about her filling in when our clerk is off, or that language wasn't written in there. I know it's a common.
I missed that. Was there an ordinance presented?
I think we voted to request for an ordinance to be made. We have not voted on the ordinance.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
We didn't approve it last time. Didn't we make a motion?
There wasn't anything about bringing an ordinance back. It was just more or less
Conversation then?
conversation-wise amongst council that it was brought to you guys and there was more questions or something about it, but there was never anything moved to have the solicitor bring back an ordinance.
Was it in a committee meeting? Because I didn't
I remember
know anything
you guys
about an
voting on
ordinance.
it.
An ordinance.
We voted for an ordinance.
Document.
We voted for an
We
ordinance.
voted for an ordinance.
Okay.
for her to be raised up, we voted on that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we voted for
I
the
guess
word.
I remember
missed
that.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did vote on that, but the language that we got after the fact about the job description, because that's kind of what we wanted,
Mhm.
it does not have in there about her filling in when our,
Monday.
Filling in for Aaron.
for Aaron and she. But I did talk, that's another issue, I did talk to the water board, and he realized it wasn't in there. I said, well, that's the main thing, we wanted that in there, and I know we wanted you guys to justify to us why she got the increase, basically. And it did not mention that.
I just don't know what document, I don't know what document we're talking about where there was a discussion about
Well, it was.
what she should do.
It's very odd that I don't
Yeah.
write something down like that. That
Well, we don't have the document.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't have
That's
it
what they're
together.
discussing about putting it together.
Oh,
But that way, I guess, more of like the job description.
Yeah,
And
if they
it's
said,
about the pay.
yeah, that needs to be added to our policy procedure. I did just talk to him about that.
So can I ask this, since they
That
said
would be
it
a
was,
policy and procedure.
if they said it was a motion, apparently I didn't pick up on
At the
it.
last meeting that we had, there was an ordinance requested to increase the water board clerk. There were 2 days. So that was Dan and Ann.
Yeah. Because I know it was talked about last meeting this year.
It was at the last meeting, Ann?
Yeah, that was at the last meeting.
So I just want to make sure that the language is in there. That's what, it's some of it, not all of it. It needs to be spelled out.
Do we have some job description language?
yeah, that's what I'm trying
The
to
water
figure
board
out.
has the job description. There is a job description for her. They had to recently do all of them to do their emergency plan or something to do with the EPA. So I do know that there is a job description for the water board clerk.
Yeah, okay. I don't mean to be a stickler here, but we're talking about a job description for an ordinance that we have coming. Some people know about and some people don't have a clue how we got to the point of adding stuff to something that all of us don't have.
It was here.
Oh, it was here?
It was here. when it came out.
I mean, a document?
That's what I'm trying to see.
Okay,
on here.
yeah, because I just don't, I haven't seen such a
Because that's
document.
what I noticed, it wasn't there, so I'm thinking it must have been, maybe it was an email.
Mhm.
But I noticed that was missing. So I just want to make sure that.
No, we
that
talked
is
about it at
included.
the last meeting.
Make a motion to include it.
I'll make the motion that we do include that part of it, that about in the absence of Aaron, that our water board clerk does fill in. Because that was kind of one of the determining reasons why we went to, not that she wouldn't do it, she had been doing, had done it in the past.
You say she has or she hasn't?
She has filled in, I think, periodically.
Not according to the water board president, or to the young lady that works out there. Just so you know, I talked to her about it and she said no, it hadn't happened. So, I'm just saying, so we're all on the same page.
Well, I think they're not, because there's a lot of different stories, I guess we're all hearing, so I don't know what's
Yeah.
fact or fiction.
Yeah, but if we got an ordinance, and I'll be done with this, if we got an ordinance.
Well, if we have an
we're gonna
ordinance
put-
that says she's supposed to-
May I finish? If we have an ordinance that we're putting together, then we'll look at all of the stuff that's in that ordinance and we can go from there.
Right.
But I sort of just wanted to be
Yeah,
clear.
that's what we were saying from the beginning.
Thank you.
So anyway,
I'll second.
I know what she said, what he's saying though, but she has mentioned it. The water board clerk said she is not staying here past 2:30. And I don't know if she'll actually go into the office and cover when she's gone. She hasn't, I believe. When she was pregnant, she did. Since then, no.
Yeah, we hired her for that purpose.
Right.
Yeah, we hired her for that purpose. So maybe if that's in the ordinance, that'd be different.
So should we,
But just so you know, she said she's not staying here past 2:30.
so should we back this whole train up for a minute? And, because otherwise, if we approve this and change your job description, first of all, can we do that? Or does the water board, I know we control pay, but doesn't the water board control the job description? So, and if she's not willing to do the job that we need
Well, I
her
didn't say
to
she wasn't willing to do the job.
Has somebody had a discussion with her of, we'd like to do this, but here are the requirements?
Yeah, probably not.
Somewhat. I mean, I can bring that up to her again.
I mean, that would be important to know before we really move forward with this.
Yeah, because she's already been paid. If we don't have the higher rate that we said we were gonna pay her, she's already been paid that, isn't she?
No,
Well, that's
we
what-
didn't approve any of the pay raises.
No.
Oh, I thought.
She's still making $12 or whatever it is.
She makes $14.71 an hour.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Yes, there is.
Which motion was that?
It's to add in
That, okay.
that she subs
This
for
one
the,
second that?
yes, he seconded it.
That is,
To add the language that she will sub for the clerk of courts
On the
in her
ordinance.
absence. In her absence.
You wish to continue with that one? Is there any further discussion? That's what we were discussing, right?
Yeah.
All right. We'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yeah, yeah.
Ann Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
yay.
Sam Jackson. That's all I know.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Why didn't I start the other way? I thought I was gonna change things up a little bit.
Sorry.
That's okay. Steve?
Finance committee, we kind of postponed our meeting, so I do want to schedule a meeting, but before we get to that, laws and contracts brought to our attention that Aaron, I want to say Larry, but that's the wrong last name now. How do I say Aaron?
Salazar?
Salazar. So, Aaron Salazar, we have a longevity ordinance that was passed in 1999 that basically gives our employees that have been here with 5 years of service or longer, basically gives them a stipend in December, a one-time payment. However, Erin has not received that since, 2014. So she needs to be paid for 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And then again, she would get the payment for 2020 in December. So I would like to make a motion that we pay Erin the $790 that we owe her.
I'll second.
Motion by Steve, second by Pamela Jackson. Is there any further discussion?
Yes. When that says one time, does it say one time a year or does it say one time?
It says that, hold on, let me get to the right verbiage here. Each employee who, here we go. Shall be eligible for additional compensation. Each employee who shall have completed 5 years of service as of December 31st, 1999 shall receive additional compensation in the amount of $100 for each additional year of service computed as of December 31st, 1999. An employee shall be compensated $20 per year of service in addition to the $100 for the 5 years of service. All longevity payments shall be paid on or about the first pay period in December of each month. So like in 2014, Erin would have got $100, and then in 2015, she would have got $120, 2016, $140, and so on, which basically is where the $790 comes from.
Any further discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yeah.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yeah.
Pam Jackson.
I would also, to that end, we did not budget to be able for the longevity pay, because to be fair, I wasn't aware of it when we did the budget. So we need to make, or I would like to request an ordinance to transfer funds from the Ohio Fire Pension Fund that we had set aside for Dory, or Chief LaForce, who's no longer with us.
Oh.
So there's money sitting there that I would like to transfer that amount over to be able to cover the longevity pay because again, we weren't aware of it when we made the budget. So is it easier just to email you, Bob, the account codes and everything? Instead of say it out loud? But I'm going to request that, just so council's aware, I'm going to request that we move, what is it? It'll be $1,000 that's being moved, which will cover what we just approved and then also her longevity pay that she would get in December of this year. But I'll run it by Margaret, have her double check to make sure I don't screw it up, and then I'll send it to you, Bob, for next council.
She's being paid for 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19?
Yes.
And how much was it?
$790.
So
it should be, she gets 120 and 15?
Yeah, so 15.
What, 20 every month?
Yes.
Or every year?
Every year.
That's what makes it confusing.
So she should get 800.
As I had them.
Oh, man, you can't be doing that to your math teacher.
Well, Martin,
No, you can do quadratic equations, you just can't get 2 and 2 makes
You
4
want me to
sometimes.
add on the calculator, not to.
Yeah,
I pressed in.
let me double check this real
It's
quick.
new math.
I'm just saying.
No, you're right, well, let's get it right.
Can't show it. Don't have to do that.
You guys need a math
No, it's
teacher over
790.
in Three Rivers?
So in 2015, she gets 120,
Yeah, 2015,
and then she gets 140 and 16.
and then 116, 17, 180 and 18, 100, and there's where I screwed up.
200.
Should have been, there we go, should have been 200, yes, you're right, Bob, it should be 800, I apologize. I added 10 instead of 20.
The lawyer beat the mathematician.
So then, this year in
My
December,
math
what
teacher
she'll
would've
get is
never believed it.
$220, am I correct?
Yes,
Now, here's another question, is that just full-time employees?
Yes.
full-time employees after 5 years of serving. yes.
Except for water board, that's different. They have their own little-
Okay.
Theirs is different.
All right.
So I would like to amend my original motion from 790 to 800. I apologize for my $10 miscalculation.
I'll second. Motion by Steve Dalton, second by Pam Jackson. Any further discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford, yay. Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
I'm done.
Okay.
I need to schedule a meeting for finance.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was done.
Anytime after 5, any day.
About
Margaret?
Thursday, next Thursday.
Next Thursday, that's the
27th.
7?
27. What month is it? Not yet. 27. Works. Yeah, that'll work. Thursday, 27.
Everybody good? What time?
What time?
5:30 still work?
That's
Okay.
fine.
August 27th. Finished, Steve.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Steve. Angela?
For the planning committee and commission met on the 4th, and we moved forward with the plans for the dedication of the playground and the nature preserve. So we plan to have the ceremony on August 29th at 10:30 a.m. over in the park. And invitations have been sent out for those who helped us to get to this point of the project via grants and donations. And we will need to get a flyer out to the people in the village. And Lisa, could you make a call to let people know that we were having that dedication on the 29th?
Sure.
Doesn't council have to approve the dedication? Like, isn't this what we get upset with the police initiative? Don't we need to like make sure, like check with council and make sure, like, I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out some of the
Right.
rules guidelines.
That in essence is what we're doing. Bringing this here for your approval.
We
Okay, I
also
was,
talked about it at the last meeting for what we were going to do, or planning to do.
We make a motion to do it, it's in the minutes, and I don't get written up because it wasn't done. If you're spending the money.
are there any costs associated with?
There will be some costs, because we will need, that's another thing on my list is to ask for some funding for the snacks, which would be water, coffee, and Danish. And then also, we need to buy supplies for the ribbon cutting. And I think that's all. Oh, the other thing to ask if we could have maintenance set up for us, because we'll need chairs moved from upstairs to over there and back. And I also have signage for the park, because we have to post a sign, and that's what's on the back of this paper, that we have to have posted, because these are requirements for a playground area, to ask the kids to wear a mask, please maintain social distancing, stay 6 feet apart, wash and sanitize your hand before and after play. Yes. So that's what that is. So yes, there are some funds needed. And
you know how much you think you need?
well, I would think that we could do it for less than $300. We shouldn't go over that amount.
And then, can the money that's still sitting there from the grant not cover these funds?
I don't know.
I don't know what the guidelines are on the grant.
All I can do is submit it. I mean, I don't know.
Well, if needs be, can we get the money on the special events or something like that?
Yeah, because that's kind of a special event, it's happening.
We didn't.
Because it's not actual working on the park.
No, I know, but we did not budget for something like this in special events.
Could it come out of the We Thrive money?
Yeah, there is no.
There's
That's 32 cents anyway.
Oh.
They don't drain that.
And she didn't use that money for that.
We did set aside money for the Easter egg hunt, right? We didn't spend that.
We did spend a little.
Oh,
because I
you spent
purchased
it?
Not that much, no.
Okay,
That's why I was just
that's what I'm
telling him.
saying.
There is a
that
little
money
left
spent.
there, but then the rest was for the haunted house.
Well, maybe we'll have some money by October and we could get this project out of the way.
But I'm not gonna quibble if council doesn't want to come up with $300. That's not a problem.
So there should be something.
If there's money left over
There
from
should be
the
something.
Easter, it's
We
just
should
not having time to be able to look through and see.
Yeah.
There ought to be money in one of the council accounts for supplies and equipment or something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We'll find a way. You just have to justify it.
I think special,
Take care, Mark.
I would go for the special events if there's some money there from, that
There's
we didn't
still
spend
some.
on the Easter egg. Is that at
If
least
there's
lined
not,
up?
can you move money there when you're doing the ordinance for the other?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next thing, but, yeah.
And
I
I can
don't
work
want to
with
spend a lot of time on $300.
Okay, so I make a motion that we use the $300 from special events and whatever,
Wherever you can find it.
wherever we can find it and.
Leave it as
grant that
special
to
events and then we'll
somebody.
transfer the funds.
Yeah,
that works.
If there's not enough, whatever, rather leave it
Yeah.
that way it doesn't cause accounting issues
so
later.
I make a motion that we grant the planning committee the $300 for this event.
I'll second.
Motion by Lisa Stafford, second by Pam Jackson. Any further discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yeah.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
On the sign thing, are you gonna, is somebody making this sign or is it a?
Don is gonna help me out. He has a person who, that they deal with that makes signs for the village quite often, so he's gonna get.
We'll just need to get the cost to council so they
Yeah.
can hear this.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Now, that definitely wouldn't be covered by the $300, so we can talk about that at some.
My question is that if it's gonna be a permanent sign or more than one sign over there, since we can apply for money coming back from the CARES Act, if if we know where we're getting them, if it's gonna be a metal sign that's gonna be permanent over there for always, and go to Clem or somewhere
That's not
that
permanent
should.
Yeah.
sign.
I mean, I'm just saying, if there's any signs over there, you know, that, I mean, anything like that, you're saying something about signs for the
Now,
parking
that
or
would be, that
whatever.
should be part of CARES because it's.
It is, it's covered.
Yeah, it should be
Right.
covered.
Coming now, yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
A big part of that cost should take care of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, if we're finished with that part.
Hold on, we need to, did we approve the actual ceremony? Do we need to do that?
Well, I
We
was going
approved
to
the
wait
funds.
to make the motion after she finished her report.
Okay, I
Yeah.
feel like we move on and then we come back, I was just
Yeah.
trying to.
Thank you.
And the other thing that we need for over there is to get the borders around the playground installed. And that stuff is here.
Did the other things come in, do you know,
Yeah,
the
the
ramps?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the mayor had spoken to RJ, and he had mentioned to me about it too, that they would probably have it done by that time.
I think they would do okay. What we're waiting on right now is our backhoe is still in the shop because he had to order parts, so it's been sitting there all this time. And yeah, it's still there. So hopefully we're supposed to get that back this week. So as soon as they get that back, it should take no time at all to
Right,
go around and slap that in.
yeah.
Okay, and our next task for the committee will be to work on getting the walking pass completed. And I think that's all. Oh, we have a meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock over in the park again.
In the park?
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Ann. Dan Dalton?
As Pam pointed out, we had the laws and contracts. Don was sitting in on that, and he mentioned that he is still in process of getting everything set up with Lexipol with the police manual. So I decided until he gets that ready, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to have a full committee meeting. So when he gives me a better idea of what time he's got left, we're going to go ahead and have a police committee meeting, at which point we'll straighten out all the stuff with the initiative and what else is going to be done in terms of local policy and procedure that will be added into Lexipol, so it's all in one spot and there's no question about it. Other than that, got nothing.
Sounds good, thank you. Lisa?
I just need to, we had to cancel our communications meeting, so we need to reset up another communications meeting. And what time, what day is good for you guys?
It's not Thursday the 27th?
Well, I know that. How about the 3rd? It's a Thursday.
It should work.
Okay. That way we can get it in before the next. Okay. So communications meeting, 5:30? Okay. All right.
I was reaching out to our webmaster to try to talk to him about switching from our current site to the new site. Is there a better email than his village email to try to reach out to him?
And you'd have to talk to Margret, she normally,
He doesn't have a village email. You talking about Matt Pritchard, our webmaster?
Yeah, man.
Well, he's got one that was on here.
For the village?
Yeah, he's got one in the village. I don't think he checks it.
I guess he doesn't check it.
I mean, I don't-
It's not mine.
Honestly, I've never used that one. I didn't know it was there. I do have one that I emailed directly right to him at his personal one, I guess, or his business one, and I'll copy you or I'll email you with that.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Margaret.
Never knew he had one for Addyston.
I don't think he knows he has one for
I know, he doesn't.
The other, no, he might not know that he has it.
Oh, that's
He
interesting.
did right in line, but then
And-
checks him.
That's all I have, so.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Danville?
Thank you, Mear. I only have about 30 things, but I'm good. In the interest of time, I will cut that down. First thing, I just want to say for the record that we certainly pass on our condolences to Eric Simon, who was a policeman here for many years, who passed away, had his funeral on Saturday, and it really hurt me that I was having a problem on Saturday that I didn't get to go. But Don was there. He might want to reflect on that when he speaks. But
Yeah, I did.
I went too.
we certainly pass on our condolences to his family. He was a great guy. And also, Margaret, I'm glad to see that you're back. I hope you're feeling better because
It was just stress-related shingles. You wouldn't have, to look at me, you wouldn't have thought anything was wrong with me, but
yeah.
just the one side of my face was full and Don saw it.
Oh my God. Yeah. But I'm glad
Thank
you were able to get back and be with us. I certainly understand some of my friends who have had it say it was very painful and uncomfortable. So, first thing I want to cover first is CBDG funds for 2020, and if anybody's had an opportunity to look at these mini grant applications, which will be due on August 26th. I certainly will attend a Zoom meeting tomorrow. I think you all have this information forwarded to you at 3:00 p.m. so that we can check and see that Addyston is eligible for any of those funds and what we might have to work on. So that meeting is on the 26th. Before, we were advised that these are for some really big type of things, and would be better to do another type of grant. So, but that we want to tune in, and the mayor had indicated that there may be a special meeting. If that meeting reveals tomorrow that there is something, in fact, that we may qualify for, then we may have to have a special meeting.
I wonder if our park would, anything over there, like the walking path
Yeah.
and the road, because it's supposed to be, everybody can use it.
Yes, I definitely want to.
Yeah, I was attending that tomorrow as well.
Yeah, and I got some, somebody had left in my box. I had been looking for some estimates that Chip left, and I got those, and I'll be able to kind of put together some numbers for the path and the road itself over there.
Yeah, I made sure those got back in your box.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
And then the CDAP programs, again, that'll be in August. Well, this is August. That'll be the 31st of this month. They'll have a similar meeting, and we'll get information on that. And finally, Margaret, you can tell me right off the top of your head, are we, is this our year for a community development block grant? We got one in 19, right?
I don't know, because last year they gave us money for the school.
Yeah.
Was that something separate?
No, this will be in that same 3-year cycle program. The final one, the third thing that I'm speaking about here.
I'm not sure, Dan. I'd have to look.
But I kind of think we're doing 21. That's just my feeling. So out of these three, if we find out that that we can receive some funding out of that, we'll have to get together. It's usually happens pretty quickly. We have to get together, put together our proposal, which is usually pretty easy once we know what we're going to do or what council wants to do as a whole. So you have that, and you know what to look. As you look through that, you can kind of formulate in your own mind what you think would be a good project. I would like to thank the Street Housing Committee for meeting, and I apologize to Lisa, she's on both committees, and we had both set committee dates for the same day, and I will certainly try to do a better job of letting everybody know when we're going to meet. It was just one of those things where we just had to have a meeting. It was posted, and we also let the people know that we were on a tour of the village. Anybody who would come to that meeting, it was on the door, that all they need to do was give us a phone call and we could tell them where we were. As you see in front of you, they are nearly 3 pages stuff that we looked at and discussed in, as we toured the village. And in the interest, again, of brevity, you have all this in front of you, but we looked at all the streets, and we have weeding project, weeds kind of growing pretty much, and we'll have to get to those. We looked at the bricks building, and I don't know if council's aware of the fact that the gentleman is rumored to be starting a car lot there, selling used cars. Yeah, so I spoke with Dick, and that has to be, it's zoned correctly, but it has to be, it has to come through the council via the zoning board of appeals. Then it has to be brought to council. And I told Dick, and I don't know who else might run into the guys, that he shouldn't get too excited and too involved, because he has 5 cars over there now, and one of them doesn't look all that great. So we don't need to repeat what we did out at 1 Main Street with Mr. Kaiser.
Right down. We still have one on Shamrock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, which somehow is still there. And you can look, we did East Main Street, and we did west from the corporation. And you'll see in all those 10 areas or 11 or 12 areas that we looked at, things pretty much repeated themselves, you know. So as just an assessment, I think we agreed as we did that our village is not where we want it to be, but with these things, and there's some pretty glaring things, and I assume without saying it, that this corner right next to our building is one that I assume that's what the new ordinance is going to help cover.
Right.
To get that, try to get that done. I won't go into everything, everywhere along the line, but the bottom line is that we're going to need the work of everybody around this table, and we're going to need the work of some community people to sit down and help us with our vision of really cleaning up our village. And most of the stuff that needs to be done in our village is not overwhelming. It's paint. It's just being cleaned up, you know? Get the junk out in the front of your house. It's, I mean, we've come a long way, and I have a picture board I can show you what Addyston looked like for a while. But we got to keep going, and I'm happy to be working, you know, with the committee who they were very diligent as we toured the town. But we need everybody's help. We need everybody focused, everybody's solutions to get our town really the way we'd like to see it. So we know there are people who don't have a lot of money, but it doesn't take a lot of money to keep your yard cleaned up. Or, you know, we had a group called ARM, and I will be working to put together a nonprofit group who can get money to help do these kind of things. And we also have to look at the tear down situations that we have. What is the name of that? There's you'll see in the CDBG draft that I showed you, their funds are not always there, but there are for tear down.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. So, I mean, we have those kind of things. We're looking at those things. I know council has made its decision on 32 Main and 213 Second, but one thing we noticed on 213 Second, there's not even a for sale sign there.
Did we make a decision on those?
Huh?
What do you mean a sale sign on that blue one we supposedly sold? That's because none of you actually put it up for sale again.
Yeah, we did make a motion. We didn't make any last meeting. We were recommended to bring somebody in to try to look at everything before we move forward.
On 213?
Yeah, on both.
313.
Is it 313? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Because we were talking about, if I remember correctly, it was the idea of would it be better for us just to take down both houses because, and then just sell the lots versus trying to sell the house on a lot?
I know we talked about that, but that is.
But we never made any motions on anything. We haven't done anything yet.
But in all of this, in trying to sell the property, it's a simple thing to put a for sale sign up. Then we can make a decision after that, but at least we need to put a for
I'll
sale
make a
sign.
motion to put it up for sale again.
Well,
Sure.
actually, I think there was some talk about maybe putting it out on social media, but I don't think that happened.
We just didn't, we didn't
We
make a
never moved
motion on it.
on.
We
Okay.
discussed it, but we didn't move on it.
All right.
If I may, in the interim, I'd make a motion that we put a for sale sign on the house in case somebody's driving by and said, hey, I'd like to have that house.
Can we just amend the motion just to put it up for sale and post it on social media and put in a for sale sign?
I'm agreeable to all that.
All right, motion by Dan Pillis, second by Steve. Any further discussion on that issue? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
And help me out, excuse me. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, I apologize.
Please help me out. I kind of got lost in this thing. Did we ever make the motion to go ahead with the ceremony?
No.
Ceremony?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Then I would make a motion that we proceed with the park dedication and grand opening.
Second. Motion by Dan Pillis, second by Pam Jackson. Any further discussion on that? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay?
Lisa Stafford,
Yay.
Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You have a draft of the ceremony that we proposed. It may be dumbed down depending on who responds to that. Oh, here you go.
Thank you.
Dan, did you get one?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay. Finally, I spoke with the Sisson family as we agreed to name that nature preserve after them, and told them that, we're very limited in our funding. We don't have specific funding for it, and they're going to raise money for the sign. To get the sign, and it's pretty much the sign that you have drafted, that you have a draft of. Raymond H. Sisson, his date, and nature preserve, pretty much what that comes down to, so.
Councilman Phillips, I get one question about.
Oh, absolutely, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't be like bringing you back to it.
that's okay, I'm glad you did. Should have asked for questions, Steve.
Our building inspector, so like some of this shouldn't, like, I don't know how all this works. I was just, like, for example, like the areas, like the homes that have people living in them, that the grass needs to be cut
Yes.
and that kind of stuff. Is that does our building inspector take care of that? How does that work?
Yeah, I know Lisa meets with him.
Yeah, I do.
And I meet with him as well.
Grass cutting list and
Yeah,
mailed out mails.
yeah.
Working down my list of people, so I'm gonna not be very popular here soon.
So, yeah, I've spoken with him about it, and as I had a couple I was telling him about, and I looked out the window, one I could see, it had at least been cut down to 8 inches.
Still high.
From 24, so we got,
Small step.
a little bit, but yeah, many of these things, moving forward with the housing and street committee, we've done these things, and now it is, the things we'll be doing is looking at suggestions, the best way to go through these 13 items or so that we have here, and start bringing recommendations back to council, back to the mayor and the building inspector as to how we can attack these things in a meaningful way, in a lasting way, that we don't keep kicking this can down the road, that we have a strategic housing plan that all we got to do is go look at it and say, okay, this is how we do it. That's our ultimate goal.
Have you gotten something together like that with your committee? since you have the housing committee now,
Yeah.
put that together and bring it back to council and let them read it.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have to have several meetings, and we'll have the county, you know, who has pre-COVID, has taken a special interest in Addyston and strategic planning in helping us along with these type things. And like I said, we'll be meeting probably more often than the committee would like to, but this is important, and we got to focus on this, and we got to get this done. Mayor, I think that's all that I have.
I have one thing
Yeah.
from this committee. that I
Yeah, go
kinda
right
wanted
ahead,
to
please.
ask.
I'm sorry, Ann
No.
and Lisa.
That's all right. There was a resident who made mention to me and my husband the other night that if a house is torn down on a lot here in Addyston, you can't rebuild on it? On a 40 by 120 lot?
That depends on,
Is there
depends on
such
the
a,
space. There are some lots that can't be rebuilt on because they're too small.
okay,
With the requirements that are there now.
okay.
I mean, that's something Dick can lay out for you.
Yeah.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, it'd be in our zoning.
Yeah, that's something, if, yeah. I would
Because when
like
they built it, you gotta consider at the time they built these
Right,
houses.
small, yeah, because I live in one of
They
those little
started
tiny
slamming them
houses.
up side by side due to the pipe foundry.
Yeah, okay.
One of the things, if I may, is that our ordinances were for 40-foot lots
Mm-hmm.
and certain setbacks. But as different councils evolved, I think they actually made an ordinance that you couldn't build on a 40-foot lot, and your setback had to be a lot deeper than what it is now. And we had people who came and wanted to build. But we really need to, because we're an old built-out community, we really need to change that ordinance if we can find it, and if that's our ordinance, to again say people can build a house on a 40-foot lot. You can put a really
Well, I
nice
mean,
home.
we've had some new stuff built since then, and what it is, it's like a variance. It depends on the council that's on at the time, whether or not they want to be good to this person that's building, or whether they are not so nice.
Right.
Well, I say if people want to build here, let them build.
I agree.
Well, I think, yeah, if Margaret, will you see if you can pull that
Well,
particular
I was just gonna
ordinance?
ask, you know, Helen's been helping me finish up one project, and I use her for about another week to go through and pull stuff and make copies. I'd love to have somebody to just copy and scan all the ordinances.
That would be
That would be wonderful.
I don't have the time to do it,
No, that would be awesome.
you know, so, but no, I will look, Dan,
Yeah,
and I'll see if,
and I know you're
you know.
behind, you got a lot of things going on, just whenever you
I
can do that for us.
appreciate that too,
we
Margaret,
appreciate
because that was, when this person said that to me, I was like, you're crazy.
it.
What do you mean?
No.
You're telling me if my house burned down, I can't build it back on my
Well,
spot?
There was a,
just for instance, Mr. Fry's house on Second Hand. His mother went through a lot to get that
Oh, my God.
house. She actually had to have a foundation and everything poured to
Put her through a
put that
lot.
house there.
Oh, she
So-
went through it a lot.
Yeah, so there are
Unnecessary.
situations, and there are ordinances,
Hardship.
and please believe me, there's probably 30 ordinance books up there, and from everything. There are some that have index that I've done, but, you know, like I said, if I could just have her for another weekend, because this is a lot to go through those books. And then sometimes when you look at that, then you find another one that supersedes what was passed prior or whatever.
Thank you, Margaret, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Is the council okay with her keeping Helen for a while?
Yes.
I'm always
It's
okay
okay,
with it.
okay.
'Cause
I mean,
know
this
there's
is
a lot of
a
work,
person
it just depends,
She's filled in for a lot of people. She's helped Lisa in the past. I mean, the
Oh, yeah.
girl, she's one
Oh,
of
yeah,
those
she
that,
is really good.
I don't have to go and watch her the whole time.
Do we need to appropriate any more money to be able to,
Well,
or are we still under the original, whatever we
the
approved?
original money was only
Yeah,
$800 from January, so there'll probably have to be more money, you know, spent somewhere. But we can include that in,
I'll put that on when the finance committee meets to find some more money to be able to cover that.
how long between,
please.
where do you wanna?
How long?
You want to keep her and keep
Well,
how
she's still
long?
finishing up what we're doing right now for this next audit, okay?
Mhm.
And it was only for the $800, so I would say probably for at least the rest of this week and at least another 2 weeks.
For another roughly $800 again.
Again, yeah. So probably no more than $1,600 for having that help.
There are several other items, but due to time, I'll speak with you about them, Margaret and Steve. They don't call for any motions or anything. It's just something I can talk to various individuals about, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Brady, you didn't have, no, I'm not doing that today. It's 9:35, I'm not doing that today. What?
Did you vote on that motion?
Oh, did somebody make a motion for the help?
No,
Or was that a consensus, or should they make that motion?
I would
Well, they
agree.
say
Can somebody make a motion to allow me to have Helen for 2 more weeks?
No, not that
No?
one, the motion for the dedication, did they vote on that?
Yeah, they voted on it.
Yeah, we
It's
voted.
done,
Yeah, we did
it's
that.
done.
Yeah.
I'll make a
Keep
motion,
going backwards.
Margaret can continue to have help for another $800 worth of whatever that gets her.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Steve, second by Dan Pillow. Any further discussion on that? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford, yay. Dan Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Ann Jackson. Thank you, council.
Is that all you have, Pillow? Yeah, that's all. We'll go to the fire chief, Chief Ogre. Did you have anything for us tonight? Eventually we'll get around to everybody, I promise.
Good evening. Just a recap of July, we had 8 EMS details. None were drug related, so that's a good thing. We had 4 fire company details, we had 2 auto accidents, a fire alarm, and then we had wires down. But the one thing that and I know Don will talk about this a little bit too, but one thing that we need to look at or stress to folks is marking their addresses. There are some houses that you can barely find an address if there is one at all, so we really need to try to get the word out to mark your address in a legible manner. And then quite honestly, and I don't know if this needs to go to a committee or something, but we need to look, we have a problem with Main Street and East Main Street. We get a lot of dispatches
Thank you.
that go back and forth. I mean, they go back to, well, when the mayor's mother, that was, when she was down, right? Did she live by my mom?
Main Street.
Huh?
Yeah, she lived right up above your mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just past the Main Street.
Yeah.
So, and it's
It's a safety issue that
It's
we
been-
can actually redo our addresses.
It's actually progressively getting worse. I think we were dispatched the other day, right next door to your house and your
And
house.
my house.
And so we're getting, so we need to do some research on how we can
I agree.
fix that, correct that. And I know I said this when I became the fire chief and we took over the village. Second Street's addresses really need some work.
They do.
That's really, I mean, they jump.
Village.
All the other streets are relatively decent, but Second Street is
Yeah,
horrible.
sure do well.
You know, actually, if you look at some of the streets on Second Street, the 6 got turned up down, it was a 9. That's why you got those huge gaps in places, seriously.
Well,
If you go down, they didn't fix it, they just said,
They would change it. They did that to my grandma's place. Hers got renamed because
Do
of
you know,
old
Bobby, is that
Stevens and
true?
new
Will Hamilton
Stevens.
County redo all of our deeds and that with all of our properties if they're listed for the old address?
They won't redo all
But they'll
your,
mark the change, I saw it.
right,
That's what
they
they
won't,
heard.
they won't go in and redo your deeds, but they could probably
Update the address.
correct.
Do we have an ordinance that says you have to put your house number on your house? Is that I'm just asking, I don't know.
I think we did.
It may be in your property code. I know a lot of place is headed in their property. I'm just,
Yeah, well-
even if it's just educating folks, and I talked with Don a little earlier, and we'll develop a flyer that if we can get out and about, something
If you'd
just
like,
to
I'll go ahead
educate,
and do an all call as well.
something just to educate some of the folks
About putting on there.
about putting it on their house.
So that they can see, yeah, so it's visible.
Is that why you had 2 calls here at this building within the last couple of weeks?
Oh, it probably. But, so it's just something that I think, I don't know if there's a committee that I can work with, or Don and I can work with, but it's obviously something we got to.
Yeah, because that's something that our chief is going to bring up tonight as well, because it isn't.
Yeah, I'd be eating
it's
the
a
punch.
safety issue. It really is a safety issue. It's something that needs to
And for whatever reason, it's just becoming
I mean, I really
progressively
don't
worse.
care if my house number changes, it's still my house.
Oh,
But I think, you know, if the fire and EMS can get to somebody's property quicker,
yeah.
because we have a better system in place,
Yeah.
it could be a thing between life and death.
Yeah. And our mail is a P.O.
By no means was it their
Yeah.
fault my mother died, so get me straight when I say that. But here she is, can't breathe, and they're sent to another address.
Yeah.
Oh, no, believe me, like I said, I stress about it every time a Main Street gets dispatched. Most of the time, the police sort it out before we get there, so we look for blue lights, which helps, but it is just becoming a little bigger
Major safety issue.
issue.
My mother's not here anymore, so I'm sure she'd be down here to speak to it if she were.
I can get mine to come down, but
Yeah,
we don't
she
want
would.
that.
Yeah, she's a,
So I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's somebody that we can work with, but.
3043 of the Property Maintenance Code. Buildings shall have approved address numbers placed in a position to be plainly legible and visible from the street or road fronting the property. Those numbers shall contrast with their background. Address numbers shall be Arabic numerals or alphabet letters. Numbers shall be a minimum of 4 inches high with the minimum stroke width of a ½ inch.
You say 4 inches high?
Off the ground.
All
At
the
least
time?
4
Oh, 4 inches.
No, the letters are 4 inches.
Oh, okay.
The numbers are 4 inches.
Now, there's something for the building inspector,
yeah.
Yeah.
for property maintenance inspector.
Well,
Again, we'll work on some communication stuff too as well, but I just,
Yeah.
I don't know why it always gets, just like they call my house and they ask me, I said, no, I am not East Main, it's just Main.
I need to eliminate having
That's
it.
because the people-
Is there even actually an East Main? Isn't it not all just Main?
It's there, right.
how do we
need to
eliminate that problem?
that.
Just quick thinking, how do we eliminate east and west problems
It's just Main Street.
without changing those people out east to some other numbering system?
Oh, I'm talking about changing numbering system all across Addyston, yes.
Because the problem is they put those stones in there when they built those newer apartments and stuff, where they put the numbers in stone right in there. Most of the older houses, I mean, they got 2 wooden numbers nailed up on the house. It's a lot cheaper for me to change those out than it is to ask somebody to take a stone that's engraved in their building and pop it out.
Yeah, but the way they've got the things numbered, it starts down there at number 1 with Jeff. So, you know, that's.
Just not East Main though, that's one main, right?
Yeah, it's one name, but it's 3 right after that.
Catalina.
Kaiser and
Oh,
Jeff's.
Lord.
Yeah, and Kaiser.
They're all one name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they've got 4 apartments at 64 Main, and I know because every one of them gets my Amazon orders.
Boy, you're making them happy on
Well, I
Oh,
know,
they're having a
I know
ball.
the O'Connors built their house on First Street. They came to me and wanted me to give them a street number, and I told them I could not do that. They were assigned by Hamilton County. And that's where the solicitor at that time told me to send it to him. The solicitor was Bob.
Oh, well, now, if you go to Hamilton County, they'll send you back to the village, and then it's up to the village to review the numbers. I actually looked into that.
As a temporary thing, could we not put some kind of marking out saying where East Main is?
You know, that would help. Believe me or not,
Big
that
sign.
would help.
At least until we figure out what we're
Same
doing.
Street
So-
signs.
Get the.
Yeah.
So when the
Right.
county dispatches, does the county dispatch say East Main, or do they say Main, or?
Sometimes it'll give you both. Sometimes it'll give you one and it's the other one.
Can we send them a list?
And we're working with the county on trying to resolve that as well. But again, that's one of the problems. I mean, that's the
just
biggest
one
one.
issue. That's not all the issues.
You know, we have a couple houses on Main Street that you can't see from Main Street that you gotta go to Gross Lane to get to. And every time you dispatch there, you know, a lot of times, like I said, the PD will get us on a radio and say, hey, you need to come off the 2nd Street and some of that. So it's just, here lately, we've just got hit with a bunch of them. We've gotten 2 of them, the 2 Main Street houses that are on Gross Lane. We've been dispatched to 3 times in the last month and a half, 2 months.
But that was interesting looking for that.
But their address is Main Street, not Gross Lane.
No, because Gross Lane was a street that was like later, it used to be Addyston Street, and then it was later made Gross Lane. It's more or less, there was only really one house on Gross Lane, and that's number 4, Gross Lane. And the other ones, the other drive, it goes all the way back to Mr. Sisson's old house on Main Street, but there are those houses in the front there, across from Pam's. Those are all Main Street addresses.
And there's no address in there.
To access the houses, they don't all
Yeah,
legality.
they need to actually have a,
Yeah.
but they really need that.
So it's just something that if we could work on, I would greatly appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Chief, I appreciate that. Anybody have any questions for him?
I do, thank you. Chief,
Yes.
COVID-19, I understand there's some cases in Addyston now.
There was, I don't have my, actually, I don't want to contradict the governor or anybody. We seem to be getting more on the west side. I mean, the county numbers are lower, but we still have quite a few coming into the area.
Is that something you can just email to all of us, Chief, over?
It's against HIPAA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean number, not a name.
Okay, yeah, I can,
Names,
we have one.
We have one.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's what you told us last time.
Yeah.
And I think they recovered already back home, I'm assuming, but.
Yeah. I mean, I can let you know the numbers, I cannot give you an address or.
Exactly.
We don't want you to do that.
Good,
Right.
I'm glad it's still at 1.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fire Chief. Chief,
Mayor,
please, Chief.
if you want, you can let our guest speak first.
I was wanting to, do you mind if she goes
That's
first? She's
fine.
been sitting patiently.
Very good.
Listen to all this.
Do you need me to stand at the
If you
podium?
want to, or you can stay where you're at.
I'll just stay here if you don't mind.
I don't.
My name is Shy. I am the owner at Route 50. A little bit of my background, I am a home health occupational therapist. I've serviced this community for well over a decade. I service Cleves, Sailor Park, all of West Side. I happen to like the village, and Cliff and I look for investment properties. This is his 8th bar. This is my 2nd bar. We like to flip them. This one, I don't know that we will do that. We've got the rental properties upstairs. That being said, I was just wondering if I was able to find another piece of property nearby that I could potentially purchase, would I be allowed to put 3 50-foot trailers on it to store them and put advertisement for my business on the side of them?
That's creative. Yeah, that's creative.
Would I be able to do that?
I know what she's talking about. That's how you get, that's what I said, that's creative. But that's what we're trying to get rid of, but that's up to council, man. That's up to you guys to answer that one.
Okay, so the answers that I have gotten about the cleanup of the property has been that the property's in litigation. I have not been able to find any record of the property being in litigation. So if it is, can somebody show me proof or tell me where to look to verify that the property is in litigation?
Who told you it was in litigation? Honestly, I'm curious.
Mr. Pillow?
That's been some time ago.
It was some time ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're perfectly clear. You were here about 4 months ago.
Oh, it was in May.
Yes.
And it was through email correspondence.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
I just know that, I know that you were told something else.
Yeah, I was told that the property was in litigation. However, I've also been in contact with a previous vice mayor, who happens to be a good friend of mine, and said that the village can take action against any property owner, whether they're in litigation or not. So, I have found, through my research, 7 code violations through Hamilton County and the village regarding the property. I'm not trying to make waves.
Should be.
I'm not trying to make waves, I'm not trying to make enemies. I was a patron at Shamrock when it was there. I was a patron at Shamrock when it was here. I'm not trying to make waves. However, this has become a health and safety issue. My patrons complain about it. We have 5 or 6 rusted propane tanks stacked up right outside of our deck. I don't know what's in them. And I'm pretty sure any of
They're still
those
over
is
there?
dangerous.
He was
Yes.
directed to remove those.
Yeah, they're still there, I saw them.
I haven't been over there to look at them.
Well, here's what, may I provide, I'm sorry, I try to be thorough.
Hey,
May I
Appreciate it.
provide a couple photos? This is what we see from our property. Now, we tried to trim the property fence line and Cliff cut his leg on some rebar. Okay, so there we go with a tetanus shot. Also, the trailers from the street, you cannot see our building. It's blocking everything. There's also very tall grass, and I'm not sure if it's in the right of way or not, but there's tall grass there. We've been cutting ours down. I'm not sure who's supposed to be in charge of that, but we've been taking care of it behind our building. There's a lot of overgrowth on the other side of our building covering the right of way as well. You can't see the building coming from the other direction. I know probably opening another bar in the village got a lot of eye rolling and worry. But we try to operate a clean bar. We don't put up with nonsense. The building's clean. You know, we try to manage the patrons that are in there. We did have an incident 2 weeks ago, but the guy was on something and Cliff got him out of there. So, you know, this is just affecting our business. And we're just asking that something be pushed forward to alleviate the issue.
I certainly feel your pain. I do. This is something we've been dealing with for how many years now, Council? 4 years? And we just never get any. And the only reason I relate to you is that I'm not a lawyer, that it was in litigation, because that's what I had been told over and over. It's in
Well,
litigation.
technically it was until he combined the lots.
Yeah.
When he combined the lots, it threw him off.
Whatever, but, you
Have
know.
there been any notifications or citations provided to the property owner?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
That's what the whole meeting this was about, when you heard us speaking of the ordinance and things, so we had some teeth to grab them with. So I know who you're talking about. So yes, we're getting ready to do that, but I want to make sure that when we do, we have teeth to hold it in place. And that's the whole reason for that ordinance, along with looking up some zoning, what she's going to be doing to compare those two.
Okay. And then, you know, this is something my tenants have to look at as well, which.
And they shouldn't have to.
I don't think that's fair either.
It's not. Not at all.
One of the things that we used to cut.
We should be cutting
on
what's
the other side
growing
of that.
over there, but I
Yes.
was told by one of our maintenance guys, not the new one, that we're not cutting that because we don't own it.
Oh.
We should be cutting
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Is it in the right of way though?
It's
in the
actually
right of
on a
way.
piece of property, it's not even
Yes.
belongs to the village according to Hamilton County. It belongs to somebody named Mr. Mear from 1963. But since I guess when they came through with 50, they never, like, we never had it
Yeah.
put
Yeah,
on there.
And I
But
think
still, that's our to do.
we've always done that, and I don't know.
I don't know why he quit, but that's on the list. So as soon as the new guy gets back from vacation on Monday, I'll make that a priority.
And, you know, I would be happy if, you know, they would just pick up their garbage and stick it in their trailers at this
So,
point.
that's why I said when he gets back,
So,
we'll address those issues.
But those are the issues that I had, and, you know, there's a ton of ordinance codes against junk vehicles, willingly leaving junk motor vehicles in plain sight, solid and hazardous waste being dumped there.
The junk vehicles, though, the problem we're having with that is those trailers are not vehicles. We need something to class trailers. So that's what we're doing, because
Okay.
that's not considered a vehicle. So even though the junk vehicles ordinance you're speaking of, it needs to be a vehicle,
Okay, and there's
not a
a,
trailer. So
Okay.
that's what we're trying to get the teeth on.
okay, and then, I was told too, because they don't have tags on them, they're not roadworthy, they should not be there, they have flat tires, they should not be there, and they're falling apart. So, that was the other thing I was told was, you know, they're inoperable, whether they're being pulled by a truck or not, they're just, you can't do anything with them, because they're dilapidated, the wheels are flat, they're rusted out, and they have no license plates or anything on them.
Well, and that's only because it's a private property too, so we have to be careful about how we go forward with that.
Well, what do you
As far
do,
as
if somebody owns a house and they have like a falling apart vehicle in their front yard, what do you do?
Oh, in the front yard, we'd end up towing it, that's a vehicle.
Okay. So the
What do you mean a
trailers are
trailer?
considered built vehicles? Okay,
The junk vehicles, that serves for the vehicles.
okay,
That's why I was saying I want something with teeth, and that's why it's going to their committee. I want something to be able to hold.
okay.
So that if he comes back at us with Lori, this or that, we've definitely got our ducks in a row.
Okay. Okay.
Is it only considered a vehicle if it has a motor? Is that
That's
what
a
you're
vehicle.
thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So they don't consider those vehicles because they
No.
have to be, okay.
For the junk,
Because
We can't get
actually,
around
I
the fact
believe you
that
did that
junk on
already
property,
before,
they're
and we kind of
junk.
faltered on that by using junk vehicles. And there it still sits. And that's been years ago. Hopefully now I can get something a little bit more done with that. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to be real popular with people here soon, but that's okay.
Okay. And also, in response to Chief Ober's comment about houses not being marked well, doing home health care, I have a hard time finding houses sometimes. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been times I've called patients like, hey, what does your house look like? So,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there again, you're a healthcare patient, you know, trying to get to your patient, and yeah, definitely something needs addressed. I appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening.
Hopefully we'll get that done for you soon, really. Is there anything else that you had?
No, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Chief, or Interim Chief Dodd.
I will attempt to make this as quickly as I can. Otherwise, we'll be out here. I'll start with the address issues that Chief Ober has spoke about. This is something that we definitely have got to take a serious look at and get something done soon. Just in the past 3 weeks, we've had 3 where, had it not been an experienced officer here, it could have resulted in some bad things happening. One was for a choking 10-month-old child, and it was dispatched to the incorrect address. My understanding on Main Street where it splits at is actually at Logan, so Jeff's drive-through should technically be 1 East Main Street.
Well, that still make Kaiser and the apartments.
Yes, as well.
That's ridiculous.
The suggestion, like Dan, Chief, and I were talking about before council was bouncing things off of each other, will be to either eliminate East Main and begin new numbers starting at the Meadows coming west, so that the houses are numbered correctly where they are in every other village or every other city, where you have uneven numbers on one side, you have even numbers on the opposite. And starting that at 1 Main and coming this way, eliminating East Main.
Do you have odd and even numbers on the same side of the street?
We have, I've actually on 2nd Street got 2 streets that are considered 24. 2 houses with the same exact number.
Yeah.
Most of them starting from Church coming this way. I'm 248, my neighbor is 250, so it's pretty much, you know.
It levels out when he gets up this way.
First Street, I think, is pretty good.
2nd Street, like Chief Ober said, 2nd Street is an absolute nightmare. This is where my concern comes in, with, especially with 2nd Street. They're getting an influx of new firefighters, EMTs. We are getting an influx of new police officers.
And finding it.
If we have an officer or a firefighter that gets into trouble on one of these 2 streets and they're screaming for help, the sheriff's deputies that work out here that will be coming to back us up, or Cleves, not knowing how long Cleves is going to be around, they may not find them, and 60 seconds of time taken to find them could end up in somebody getting seriously hurt or killed. So this is something that me and Chief Ober have talked about. Former Chief Hughes, my Township Safety Director, has brought it up to me. And it's just something that I think council needs to seriously look at and get done for the safety of our residents.
When they were doing that water survey thing and they were doing the cages map, those numbers were set up. Remember he said something about it? That the numbers were set up the way they should have been initially and weren't. That it could be renumbered like in no time. Or at least that's what I seem to remember. We might want to check on that with cages.
I'm looking at the map right now.
The concern that Councilman Dalton had referenced the homes on East Main Street with the bricks with the addresses engraved on. If that's something that council doesn't want to, have to deal with, could there be a possibility council could look at just renaming East Main to either East Street or going back to Hillside Avenue, like it was before?
Probably that or something.
That way it would eliminate it in CAD, because the CAD for 5 years now has had trouble distinguishing between East Main and Main. And it's not going to get any better. We've called Google, we've called the comm center, and it still keeps happening. It's been happening a lot. Like Chief Ever said, the past year has been terrible.
And some of the residents think they live on Main Street.
Yeah.
Whether they're on this end of Main Street or that end of Main Street.
They call it Main, and
Yeah,
not
they
putting
do.
East Main too, right.
Well, that's why Amazon and FedEx and pizza delivery.
Oh, I
we
know,
get
because
videos
my
that-
aunt has the same problem.
Yeah.
Her address being 33, she's.
Depending on what mapping software you use, if you put in 1 Main Street or 1 Joe Nuxlaw Way for the stadium downtown, you'll end up at 1 Main Street at the apartments, wonder where the Reds are.
Yeah, Jeff has them too.
That sounds like.
I live in Erlanger, Ohio.
And if you go with 45200 or whatever, for the longest time, and I finally fought this with Google and actually won, 45001 would send you out to Hamilton. And this was right after Google started Google Maps, and I had like a half dozen emails back and forth with them.
Yeah,
And finally
I remember,
corrected
I did too, fixing in between where like my aunt was, they had her zip coded someplace else.
Oh, yeah.
And that was down more toward this way.
If you put in Addyston, it'll come up as 45002.
Sometimes it'll come up as 45233 as well.
Yeah, 33 is really common.
It all depends on which mapping service you use. But that's my input on the addresses. To address the other thing on junk cars on private property, I do have an ordinance that I found inside of our basic codes that we use for anything that has a motor in it. We've distinguished which houses are having problems. I've already sat down with the mayor and talked about this. I will be sending out certified letters to these homeowners this week, including 117 Main Street. He declared he is not a business, so therefore he falls underneath of that ordinance.
Does that belong?
Basically, after 10 days.
No, this is the one on the corner, correct?
I need the other one with the lawnmowers would have to be the ordinance that they're talking about. The lawnmower is not considered a motor vehicle, because trust me, I would love to.
And Don, I have not had the chance to talk to Natalie Zinn at Rita. I'll make a note and I'll try to do that tomorrow.
Okay, I'll still need that other ordinance.
They sent him a packet.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go ahead and send this one to 117, because he just told me the other day he's not in business, because I asked him about it again. But basically, I will send these certified letters out. Once I get confirmation that they've received them or it's been sent back to me after 10 days, I will pay them a visit and give them a citation. And every day after that, I will be revisiting that property and dropping a citation until they get the clue to clean it up.
Yeah, thank you.
Talking about action. The other thing I need to ask council about is the Ohio Collaborative. Pam, you had sent me that reference, seeing that Elmwood Place had achieved that. We also are in that. As everybody knows, I'm going through the Lexipol policy, redoing that. They have increased a lot of things with the collaborative that I want council's input on. Basically, we've been in for 5 or 6 years. They have done absolutely nothing for us. But now they are expecting out of us any video that we have in the police cars, they want us to store for 6 months, regardless of what it is.
We do not have the capacity.
They also are now requiring any traffic stop that a police officer makes, you have to do a contact card for every person in that car, marking their age, gender, race, why you stopped the car, what action you took, and those have to be retained on whatever our retention policy is for all public records, which would be more in Margaret's realm, where we would have to turn these into Margret, and then we're going to have more storage for that. Also, they want, I counted just so far, I'm into the 4th chapter of the policy and procedure for the police department. There's 10 chapters. So far, there's already 11 committees that I will have to have formed out of council.
Is this for Lexipol?
Yes. This is, well, it's not Lexipol. This is the Ohio Collaborative.
Yeah. That's what they're requiring.
That's what they require, not Lexipol. This is what they want in the collaborative.
We don't.
We do not have to be in the collaborative. I've placed a call to the head of the Ohio Chiefs of Police Association. He has not returned my call yet. I want to know what the consequences are if we are not involved in this, because they've never levied anything telling us this. It was never mandatory that we get involved in it. It was strongly urged by the then Attorney General DeWine. So I'm waiting to hear back on that. I will have a report back on that for you by next council meeting to see, let you know exactly on that and what your all's feelings are. Next thing is I have 3 different police officers right now that have approached me to be in the auxiliary program that we have had. These are not new officers. These are experienced officers that are willing to volunteer their time to the village. Our auxiliaries, as we remember, are not paid. These are officers that could supplement our officer on Friday and Saturday nights as a power shift car. We'll put 2 cars out on the road, or if weather is bad, we could put 2 officers in 1 car, one of them not being paid. The only thing we will have to provide to them is a uniform. I spoke with all these officers. They all have their own firearms. They all meet the qualifications and standards of what we require for firearms. It would not be a department-issued firearm. We would need to get them uniforms and eventually get them a vest, but I'm looking at a cheaper option for body armor at this point, especially for auxiliaries. I don't see where it will be a detrimental thing to us. Like I said, these are all experienced officers. 2 of them were sergeants at their former agencies. 1 of them was a lieutenant at his former agency. So these are experienced, seasoned people.
What do you call them?
Auxiliary officers.
Auxiliary.
And we do have those in our policy and procedure from when we had them last time.
Don?
There is
Are
an
those
ordinance
people
on
doing that in
that.
order to keep their commissions active?
They would be doing it to hold their commissions, but they also have been advised by me that with the auxiliaries, they are required to work a minimum of 2 days a month, and they would be on call in case of emergency if we had to call them out.
Okay, good, thank you.
So I will, with council's and the mayor's permission, I would like to start bringing these people in to meet the mayor, interview with the mayor, and get them moving and get them out there.
Do we need a motion on that?
Yeah, if you guys want me to either swear them in or don't swear them in. Or
Do
you
we
want
go
to
with-
bring your names first, or?
Do we need
How
a
you want me to
motion?
go?
It's already all in the
Well, it's
book.
already all in the books.
We just have to give a consensus that we're okay with
Okay.
proceeding, I think.
I just wanted to make sure we were,
Like proceed with,
Yeah.
You know what?
on the
I hate
auxiliary?
to say this, but please make a motion so it's in the
Yeah.
minutes. But you know, they get picked everything, and that's just another tool to look for.
okay, then I make a motion that we give Interim Chief Police McWhorter the okay to bring in some auxiliary officers for the mayor to meet and potential auxiliary. Is that good?
Sworn in.
I second.
A motion by Lisa, second by Steve to bring in auxiliary police officers. Any further discussion on that issue?
Just a quick question, Mayor. We do have, like somebody has said, we have a document that says that.
Yeah, we have an ordinance for it.
Yeah, we have an ordinance, and that ordinance kind of covers everything, right?
I wrote it down that when I'm pulling these other ones, I'll pull that one too, because I know
Yeah,
there is one.
just so everybody kind of knows what, you know, everything they can do. I don't have a problem with it other than that, just knowing. You know.
Just a side note before you go, I think the prior chief required 6 shifts a month for, 3 to 6 shifts a month for auxiliaries. I'm only gonna be requiring 2 for the fact that they're doing it absolutely free of charge.
Right.
And these guys are very experienced officers, so that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
biggest reason I want them in here. I mean, they've got, like I said, 2 of them were sergeants, 1 was a lieutenant. And for them to come to me, and, you know, this is something we've never had as experienced officers like this wanting to come
No,
work
usually
here, especially free of charge.
And they can help
And
all this young corps that you
They can
have.
help, they could greatly help me with this younger group of officers we have.
Yeah.
By just being, I mean, the biggest expense to us is gonna be the uniform and the gas in the car.
What do we do about the vest though? If they don't have a vest, I have a problem.
I can look at a cheaper option for vests right now, which I think I'm gonna do anyways. I love the vests that we have, but they are expensive. They are very
Now, since
expensive.
they've been in the police force, maybe some asked.
Some of them may have them, they may be expired, and I can always check around, see if I can find any more recent ones. But we do have to, under workers' comp, we do have to provide them with body armor.
Yeah, so there's no way we want them out there without it.
Yes. Yeah, I won't allow them to work without it.
No.
I've even gotten as flexible as to start letting them wear outer carriers. As you've seen, a couple of our guys have been wearing outer carriers because it's just the way it is. I'm not a fan of it, but it's just the way it is in law
It's
enforcement.
easier on them, yeah.
We have to protect them and
Make a note that we need to look at the uniform line item.
do you know approximately what that cost was for the vest? I mean, Absolutely.
Right now, before we get our reimbursement from the state, the current ones we wear are like
I
$1,100.
couldn't remember exactly.
They're
So we know our one.
Yeah, they're up there, but the reason they are up there is because, and that's something I am proud to say, being the head of this department right now, Addyston being the size that it is, and you all allow me to get those vests, I know I can send an officer out here, he's gonna take up to 10 rounds to the chest with a rifle, and it's not gonna penetrate. They've proven that. We're the only ones in this county that have put that kind of safety on their officers.
Good job, Chief. All right, so
We have the motion on the floor.
Just wait for, ready?
Yeah, all righty, ready to vote, council.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Lisa Stafford,
yay.
Dan Dalton.
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Steve Dalton,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yeah.
Just a couple more things, I promise I'm done.
Yeah, come on.
In regards to the park, I know that Councilman Pillow had mentioned getting signs for reference COVID, something I've been asking for. It was asked for by the prior administration. We have got to get some signs up on that park stating that it closes at dark and doesn't open until dawn, from dusk till dawn that it's closed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if they're over there in the middle of the night, I have no reason for my guys to be approaching them, because by all law, if they're signs, they can be out there swinging their heart off all night long.
Did we,
And
I thought we already approved those.
if we have, they've never been ordered.
We did. Jason Fry actually asked.
It was
for
like,
But
it's been over a
never
year, I think.
ordered.
They were just
Yeah,
never ordered.
It's
I mean,
been,
we can order them if council wishes to go off the previous okay.
Makes sense. How many do we need?
You just need one, you just need
Or one at the entrance.
one at the entrance stating that it could, one there, and I would put one down by the playground just as a reminder, so two.
I would put two, Jeff.
That's fine.
And then the last thing I have, and I know you guys, and you guys know me well enough, you know I try to cut corners on cost as best I can on everything I can. We are starting to have issues with another one of the in-car camera systems. I am going to take it out to the upfitter next week and have them check on it. For some reason, it is not activating on the white bar when it should. It is only activating if you reach up and turn it on, or when you hit the speed parameters. That is not good. If I have to send this thing in, it's out of warranty, it's $400 for me just to look at it.
What's the cost for replacing them?
To replace, I can't even replace these units because they're no longer made. So,
Well, it's something different.
yeah, I am trying to get quotes on those now. WatchGuard system, which is owned by Motorola, they have a pay-as-you-go program, which we would pay a certain amount each month for up to 5 years, and after 5 years, I believe it's almost like a lease. But they haven't gotten back with me. I'm trying to find the cheapest system I can for the cars that is going to be reliable. I don't want to buy a system and then a year and a half have to come back to you guys again and go, hey, I need NPRs again. And the last thing I have on that is something that Councilman Steve Dalton had brought up to me with today's environment and everything going on. We used to have them, we do not because any longer because it's broke. I'd like some input on council's reference body-worn cameras. The state says they're going to mandate them, but he never does pull the trigger to mandate them because he knows as soon as he does, he's got to buy them for the entire state of Ohio.
Exactly. Because that's where everybody's going with it.
I don't care either way council wants to go with this. If you want to have them, I'm all for them. If you don't, then I'm fine with that as well. It's just an extra tool. There will be a cost involved in that, but I can also check in that with new in-car camera systems. Sometimes they will roll those in. If not, I can find some that are made by a company called Bluefly off of Amazon that are usually around $149 a piece. I don't know what their quality or anything like that is like. It's not going to be real high at that cost, but it would be something. And also the new, now with the newer systems, reference to body-worn cameras with the new in-car systems, Motorola system, there's a company out of California I'm looking at. You don't need to buy a body cam for each officer anymore. They've got it now where when you put it in, it downloads and you take it out, and when you log it in the car, it automatically logs into the body camera now. So it has that separation.
Because that was the thing that was killing us is
Yes.
we're having 7 officers, we were looking at almost $6,000 to.
Yeah. In-car systems, I can tell you, in-car systems from the cheapest I have looked at so far, which has no separation, no body camera system to go with it, so we'd be running 2 different systems, is around $2,200 per car. The most expensive, which is a GTAC system, or not GTAC, it's made by the same company that makes GTAC, is about $9,000 a car. There's no way I would ever even approach that for our village. I'm trying to find something that's more cost worthy. I'm waiting on a call back from Coban, our current system, to see what they're offering, because like I said, the system we have now is no longer made, it's obsolete. They were bought up by a company called First Fleet. The first thing they did was get rid of this. But if council think about that for the next meeting, see which way they would like for me to go with body-worn cameras, see if that's something you all want us to have. If you don't, like I said, either way you guys want to go, it's what you guys want. I'm not saying we have to have them, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have them. It's anything to keep these guys safer and keep us out of litigation and lawsuits on for.
Amen.
I'll tell you, yes, for me, I'd love to see us have them. I think it's insane not to have them in the state.
But at the same time, I don't want to do what the University of Cincinnati did, and that is get rid of in-car systems and only have body-worns.
No.
Body-worns do not tell the whole story.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need that in-car camera as well. Taser International was a way that we were looking at going, but Taser International is completely off the mark because the only way I can get that system is to store it in the cloud, and after a year they charge us for all cloud storage, and by my estimations I'd be at about $10,000 in cloud storage.
You do.
So that was an absolute no.
But if you could get some price quotes for us, I kind of honestly, the system, I don't know what the cost is, but the log in, log out system,
Yeah.
the cost was having all those cameras for each individual officer, that's what was
Yes.
killing us.
That's
They lasted less than some of them were lasting less than a year.
I think the first ones that we got, we had it, and it was, the first one broke within 7 months. And those were the ones that had to be issued to each individual officer. But we've had these camera systems now, the Cobans, for 6 years. So in 6 years, that technology has more than quadrupled. So now they've got it where, you know, when you set your in-car camera off, it'll turn your body cam on. There's one out there that if an officer gets out of a car, takes off on a foot pursuit, it feels the shake and it automatically turns the camera on.
No, these available in the, I actually kind of like the idea of a lease option where it's covered, we're paying a fee, we don't have to mess with it.
That's what I'm looking at, because, you know, I'm trying to find the cheapest way to do this for the village. The absolute cheapest way, but not get a system that is so cheap that, you know, like I said, in a year, I'm gonna have to come back to you guys, because then I'm gonna have all 6 of you ready to kill me, and Margret ain't ready to check me out at the same time. But I'm looking to try to do this the cheapest way, and I'm trying to hold off as I can. Like I said, I'm going to take it out. I'm hoping just the wires come loose in the box to where it's not picking up that switch. I'm hoping that's what this is. If not, to try to hold out. If need be, I'll call Coban and I'll see if I can get them to maybe lower that cost a little bit. I got them to lower it last time, so maybe I can get them to do it again. But that is all I have. Sorry.
Council, before you do the motion to quit, I want to bring up something else. Now, did you have something to add to that?
I'm sorry, Mary. One thing, I can't give you the exact address, but I can let you know that our partnership with Dalton has paid off. 2 weeks ago, they made a bust out here in Addyston for almost 4 grams of pure crystal meth, and that person is getting ready to go to prison. So us partnering with Dart has helped, and they are still active.
Cool.
Do we need a motion to get the Don signs ordered?
Or, well, we're going off a previous motion, because it was done when Jason Friday.
We just didn't do it on the rest of
I know
I
know we approved some signs, but.
It was apparently, and Chip never requested a purchase order, you know.
He just didn't order it.
And
Okay.
the new guy,
he'll
he'll fill out one for Clem or wherever it is.
I can have the new maintenance guy order them.
Just, they had to be pretty, you know, pretty
Big.
nice size.
I have one more thing. I forgot to mention that we're gonna need lighting over there eventually, so.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
Maybe it's something we
the
can
mayor and I have
do.
been
Yeah,
kicking
well,
that
I think
around.
Mr. Pillow will have a pretty good option.
I just
for us here
emailed
soon
you
if
that
we can
grant.
Yeah, I looked at
get
that.
Stuff
Yeah.
A
together.
local grant that might be worth.
The last thing I had, I just had one more thing, just because I promised I'd bring it up, and I should have made copies of it, but I just don't see you guys coming forward. But I'm bringing it up because I said I would. So the people that did our security camera systems here
Yep.
gave us a quote to redo everything and put in new stuff. And that's without having like the monitors in the hallway that we rely on to look at. That's taking those away, which we told them we didn't want. And by the way, putting in all new cameras with a new system is $60,000. I figured I'd get that in. Hey, wait, we're not finished yet. We are not finished yet. And then a yearly to take care of everything, $8,000. Ready for that one?
You know what to tell them, right?
Like I said, I'm bringing it up. As I said I
I have another quote coming for those.
Our security.
Oh, yeah, as far as the
Because we're
contract,
paying a ton of money for this.
no, as far as you guys know too,
This is the guy
we did cancel that contract
Because
because
it wasn't working.
But yeah, I'll take anybody.
Our system's not
There's a guy that
working.
It
did
hasn't
ours,
been
and
working
he's
for
pretty
like, what,
reasonable. I'll give you his number.
Yeah, give me his
oh, yeah,
I
the
just-
one back there fizzled out.
I
It
just
doesn't
sent you-
record anything.
Well,
Yeah,
We actually removed the one out
And
back.
and they were,
because it
every
quit.
time they'd come in, nothing was, that after they would come out and service it and they'd leave, we'd be
They
right
didn't
back to where-
service it.
Well,
Here's why they're not servicing it. They will not service it anymore because it is out of date.
well, that's what my statement was trying to be.
Yeah.
We need to look at this system because this is antiquated, it's costing us a ton of money to keep it going, so we
Why is
really
it
need
costing
it.
us a ton to keep it going?
Well, we pay a maintenance fee.
Yeah, we ended that contract.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, okay, we're on the same page, I'm just saying, yeah, we need to get rid of that contract.
When the other people
Because
come
they
out and
won't
looked,
do
Yeah.
anything.
and they told us that, you know, more or less that they couldn't do any maintenance on it because they don't have the parts for this type of system anymore, and that, it was
Right.
like, why are we paying $900 and some every
Yeah,
2 months?
exactly.
For something that, and then we
Yeah,
carried
something they won't
insurance to
fix.
them and we shouldn't
Right,
have.
but to make my point clear, we really need to look at,
Oh, a new
I have
system,
a-
no doubt.
I have another quote coming.
$60,000, I'm sorry.
I have another quote coming, should be here this week.
Thank you.
He emailed me, said it should be here.
I just want to make
And-
sure that I brought it up, that's all.
And Chief,
we
I'm
appreciate
for
that.
guys
That's
as
a
well.
good note to leave on, I make a motion with adjourn.
Motion by Dan Pillar, second by Lisa Stafford. Any discussion, maybe not discussion, we'll vote.
Thank you.
Lisa Stafford.
Yeah,
Dan Dalton.
yeah,
Dan
yeah,
Pillar.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Steve Dalton.
Yay.
Cam Jackson.
Oh, boy.